Hey there, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Training Tip Tuesday with me, Coach Carl from Team Babe Athletics. Glad that you're able to tune in today. So for the entire month of July, we've been talking about cycling, different aspects of training, bike maintenance. Hey, Rachel, welcome. Just a whole different slew of cycling-related topics. So to round out today's session for the month of July, we're going to talk about a highly debated topic, whether in training you should ride solo or with a group. But before I dig in, I did want to, of course, do our race day shout outs. This past weekend, two of our awesome babes from one typically lives in Southern Africa and another recently relocated back to the US from Frankfurt. Team Babe took over Whistler 70.3 in Canada this past weekend, and both these ladies, Beth Burnham and Maisie Mahoney, both of these gals did their very first 70.3 on a very challenging bike course and a challenging day overall. Absolutely crushed it. So just wanted to say shout out, huge congratulations to these gals. They're absolute badasses, as of course all of our team members are, and many of our friends, but just an exceptional day, absolutely executed so well. So hope you ladies are both enjoying your recovery week and enjoying Canada. Also, another update, we are now in week 3 of our local training group here in Clearwater for the Lycra and Lace training group. Had a great break this past weekend, so it's not too late to join in on the fun. So if you're looking at racing Lycra and Lace sprint tri, or you just want to try something new and mix it up a little bit with some awesome badass ladies, shoot me a message and we will get you up to speed and get you rocking. This is good for any levels, complete, rookie to very experienced triathletes and everything in between. So we're having fun, don't miss out. So anyway, to dive into, hey Wanda, to dive into our topic today of whether you should be riding solo or with a group in training, and bearing in mind that we're talking within the context of typical USA triathlon format, triathlon or duathlon, which is you're not able to draft during the bike leg. So a lot of times there's big advocacy, of course, for training the way you race, which is non-drafting. And there's a lot of really good support for this, absolutely. And so a lot of this it's great mental training. So especially on days that are windy where you have to hold your own pace and you can't rely on someone to break that wind for you as you would be able to in a drafting situation, really great mental prep. Also, especially if you're doing some longer races, this also applies to short course racing where you may get into your head a little bit with the speed, being able to focus in and just be with your own thoughts, good, bad, negative, and just get recentered. That's a great training benefit that comes from training solo or with just a small group, 1 to 2 other people where you're spaced out for safety, but more of a solo effort in your training rides. So there's a great mental boost there as well. Also, a lot of times we have friends who are hammerheads, maybe we're hammerheads ourselves, where you just like to lay down the foot on the gas and go full tilt. And so for things like recovery ride sessions where you need to be going a little bit more low key, you don't want to be subject to feeling the urge to keep up with a group that's maintaining a certain pace. So there's a lot to be said too for training on your own or with 1 to 2 other people that have very similar training goals for that session for a very chill recovery ride. Go grab a coffee, etc., where you're not caught up with the group trying to maintain a certain speed and then subsequently being bummed out that you either A, blew your training session, or B, couldn't keep up because you had different goals that day, and that's okay. So there's also, like I said, there are also many benefits to, and that's certainly not all of the training benefits for solo riding, but those are personally the top 3 or 4. So flipping over to why should you ride with a group if perhaps you're not even going to be drafting during racing. So I will say that riding with a group is something that perhaps you should explore. And by group, I mean like specific, like a pace line, you're on a road bike in close proximity with other people, not necessarily 2 to 3 to 4 friends where you're just kind of spaced out. I'm talking like close proximity, drafting, pace line, that sort of thing, like you would see in the Tour de France or something. So riding like this really, really makes you hone your bike handling skills and have really wonderful control of your proprioception, your awareness of where you're at with your bike, how to regulate your speed, maneuvering, etc. So riding in a group setting, I always advocate on a road bike if you're able to. If you're only on a tri bike, absolutely don't get into aero on this. Stay in your cow horns if your group permits that. Always double check, by the way, if you're going into a new group, double check that it's okay to ride your tri bike, or of course default to your road bike if you have one. But like I was saying, in close proximity, you really have to have a great mastery of your bike handling skills. And that's something, I hate to say it, oftentimes triathletes we lack because we're not forced to develop those skills in a non-draft legal setting. So as a good steward of triathlon and the cycling world, I always advocate, if you have the opportunity to get your feet wet, dip your toes into a low-key ride in your area and just gradually gain comfort. Start with a slower pace ride where it's not as critical, maybe not as many people, a non-drop ride where they'll wait so you can regroup if perhaps you fall off the back. But search out a ride that is friendly and you can kind of work into and build up your skill sets in bike handling, maneuvering, etc. Safety, there's a lot of vocal communication that goes on in these groups as well. So just a really great tool for being more comfortable on your bike, which there's a lot to be said for that. Aside from that really awesome point, riding with a group is just straight up fun. Lots of great people ride bikes. I've met some of my closest and dearest friends in many of the different communities I've lived in riding bikes and figuring out really cool places to go on adventures. You can also explore different areas by tapping into different group rides in your area or while you're traveling elsewhere. Additionally, this will make you oftentimes a stronger rider. So say you've got your base level comfort and you want to step it up a notch. Maybe explore, say you've been doing like a C ride with your local shop, you can check out the B ride after you've gotten a little bit of experience with this. And riding with people that are stronger than you, it makes you step up your game. And while you may not be able to hold on with that group from the get-go, that's okay. Over time, if you keep going and stick with it, having that as part of your weekly, every other week, monthly flow, you'll notice that you're able to stick with that, fourth loop instead of dropping off, or, make it up the sprint with the main pack versus dropping off halfway. Just a really great way to motivate yourself, stay in with the rhythm, and have sort of some rabbits that you can work up to maintaining speed and pace with. So obviously, you might have guessed by now, it's not an either or. I strongly advocate that in our cycling development that we utilize both of these awesome formats, riding solo and riding with groups, as really beautiful, unique parts of our training composition. So if you have the opportunity to ride with a group, awesome. If you're still riding solo, that's okay too, but maybe every so often invite some friends to come along with you and maybe try a group simulation. Other than that, let me know your thoughts. I'd be curious to see how you guys utilize group training and solo training in your own flow, in your own development. And if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, don't hesitate to let us know. We will be kicking off for August a several-part series on swimming, so definitely stay tuned. definitely a hot topic for a lot of our triathletes this time of the year. And also, it is Shark Week. So if you haven't yet figured out your shark name, there is a really awesome post that we've developed where you can find out your shark name. Definitely triathlon related, shocker. But we hope you have fun. If you enjoyed it, share it. It's just a fun thing that we thought we'd, do to celebrate Shark Week. And sharks are friends, for sure. So hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. We'll see you again next week. And as always, stay badass.